So, what you guys are going to do tonight is actually play the role of these different land uses as administrators or leaders or rulers or czars or whatever you want to call it. For each of these different land uses, you're going to have full and total control, and your goal is going to be reduce the sediment coming out of this stream down to a level that is protective of that resource. Okay, any questions on that? We'll get into the how in just a second. How are you going to do that? All right, so let's break up into, let's see.
Actually do 4 sides of the table.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm just trying to think of specific spots. Maybe you two and Barbara. Yeah.
Should have about 4 for land use, 3 to 4.
Okay, so let's go over to Linda too. So if you 4 be the city, next 4 be the forest, and then we'll go maybe 3 for the residential. So Catherine through, oh, I didn't see you back there, Steve. Julia, Sally through Annie, thank you. And that's it. Wait, how did I screw that up?
You just said, you said resident, they're farmland.
Farmland,
Residential.
and then residential's down here. Okay.
Are we protecting because we think it's the right thing to do, or because we're regulated to do so?
The specific answer is going to depend on where you are. I mean, that's going to depend on the actual watershed or the community that you're in. It may be a number of things. It may be because there's regulation that says you have to. It may be because that there's an important resource in that community that is degraded that they don't want to be degraded. So it could be a number of different things. The specific is going to depend on where you are, and that's part of figuring out things before you bring the game to the table in that community. And we'll talk about that.
They don't know anything about teaching.
I know I broke out again. I know, I broke out again. So, stop asking me questions. So, as rulers of each of these land uses, you're going to get a packet of best management practices, of things that you can put on your land use that will reduce the amount of sediment coming off those lands. And this is just one example for one in the city. This is sweep streets regularly. You can see there's a title at the top. The land use is listed at the bottom, so you'll get a packet for your land use. You'll get a total of 5. And at the bottom, there's 3 things. Cost, 2. You're going to get a budget of candy that you can pay for your best management practices with. There's a sediment 10-point reduction, so that's how much sediment you're going to reduce. And then phosphorus 10 points as well. Sometimes phosphorus is the issue, and we'll play with that. And we'll look at that issue. Tonight, we're going to look at sediment alone. On the back, there's the description of what the practice is and the outcome of the practice as well. So you can learn a little bit more about what that practice is. So to start out with, though, each land use, as we talked about, does contribute some sediment. So we'll pass out markers to every land use. Here, I'll pass those over there. And I want you to write in your box right now at round 1, 50 points of sediment. Each land use has a box, and in that box you will keep track of your total amount of sediment coming into the stream. And I'll ask the residential folks.
We're residential. You're residential.
Yep, Linda, you're over. So Amanda and on, you guys are residential.
Okay, 3 of us were?
Yeah, I guess I'm.
And I think Julia's in your group too. Wherever she got. So you're starting at 50. Could you also write, notice down here at the bottom, there's this box. There's this box for undeveloped land. There's this bit of undeveloped land at the sort of the bottom of the watershed here, near the mouth. As I talked about, sediment is a natural product. And even in undeveloped areas, there is some sediment that comes in. So could you please write 5 there? 5 points of sediment coming from that undeveloped land as well. So if we add them up around the table, our current total sediment load, if you will, is 205 points. Notice we're not using any fancy units or NTUs or anything like that. We're talking about points tonight, and every land use is set equal. That's going to vary between watersheds in different places, but tonight we're setting everything equal and starting from there, because we're not worried about where the sediment is coming from in particular, but how we can reduce it overall. So would you please write, right next to there, would you write 205 for me, please? And the research that's been done has shown that in order to meet those water quality goals that we have to have the sediment down to a total for the whole watershed of 75 points. Ann, would you write that right there, please? So 75 is your goal. All right. John, would you pass out the BMPs, please? So take a few minutes. Take a few minutes to look through your best management practices. Get yourself familiar with them, and in about a minute, you're going to be responsible for playing your first one. The way it's going to work is each round, we're going to have 3 rounds. Each round you get to play 1 best management practice. And you're also going to get a budget, as we said, of 5 candies. All right?
Kelly, I think you're